This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Squarespace is the place to build a beautiful website to help you stand out and succeed online, but more on them later. I'm really excited to make this video. This is something I've been thinking about, I've been ruminating on for a while. Some watches you need to experience to fully understand. I think there is something to say for reading a spec sheet and doing your research, but sometimes you need to be hands-on to actually know a watch. So here's a bunch of watches I think every collector should experience at least once.
1, 2.
Number 1, the Omega Speedmaster Professional. I really wanted to start this list here. The Speedmaster is so much more than the NASA story. A manual winding chronograph is pretty hard to find, especially at the mid-tier luxury price point. The chronograph complication is considered a more normal complication. A lot of people will have one in their collection, but it is actually one of the more difficult movements to construct, requiring a complex layer of gears, levers, and clutches, microscopic levels of precision to engage the stopwatch functions in a way that doesn't disrupt the watch's main timekeeping accuracy. The manual winding movement gives us the best possible view of that complexity, for one, and for two, I find it so satisfying to wind my watch. I like interacting with it. I like being a part of what makes my watch tick. I think the Speedy gets compared to the Rolex Daytona far too much. I own both. I consider them to be very different wearing experiences, styles of watches, even down to the movement type. There's a magic in the Speedmaster. I don't know. It's just something you have to experience. There are a few reasons a Lange und Söhne needs to be on here. For one, they are distinctly German, which is a rarity in the watch space, and they are the highest end of German watchmaking. I don't know if this will get me into trouble, but I like to think of them as the Patek Philippe of Glashütte, but that might get me flamed in the comments. But for the purposes of this video, I would narrow it down even further to the Lange und Söhne Lange 1. This was my gateway into Lange, seeing a design that was asymmetrical but still felt perfectly balanced. The design didn't feel like anything I'd seen before. It looks complicated despite it not really having anything beyond a date window. It causes you to rethink the way you look at the information your watch gives you. But it's also not weird and quirky for the sake of being weird and quirky. There is intention behind the design choices. So the date window was inspired by the 19th century digital clock in Dresden's Semper Opera House, with the double window format, German silver, and a 3/4 plate movement. Every detail is so German and different and perfection. Moving on, the Rolex Datejust 36. I really think the Datejust is under-talked about in enthusiast circles. When you think about how much love the Explorer and the Oyster Perpetual gets, I don't think we've given the Datejust the limelight it deserves. It is arguably the icon of Rolex. Like if you asked one of your non-watch friends, a muggle if you will, to close their eyes and picture a Rolex, they probably think of a Datejust or a Day-Date. What I think this specific model offers is proportions, comfort, balance, and true versatility. When we watch people say something is versatile, we often mean go anywhere, do anything in a more sporty sense. Once again, think the Explorer. But what I'd argue is the Datejust maybe does this better. It is true versatility. You could wear this to a wedding and it would look perfectly in place, or to a barbecue. No dramatic designs, simple elegance. It's easy to understand why millions of people have bought this watch. If I had to distill Cartier down to its essence, it is form over function. Most enthusiasts obsess over movements and engineering, but the Cartier Tank for me was the first watch to show that design matters just as much. A genuinely good design should stand the test of time. The Tank has never been a fad, and the design really hasn't changed since its 1918 release. I know the size can be a bit weird for a lot of men, especially if you're used to larger watches, but I'd really encourage people to try this one on, give it a go with an open mind. It's okay if it doesn't win you over, it's just one I think every collector should experience. It's so hot right now. It's a heat wave in the UK. Hold on, look at my weather app. 35 degrees. And on those days, I can't be filming. I can't be under the hot studio light. I'll be using those times to be working on my branding, working on my website, and maybe getting merch ready to launch using Squarespace, who just so happened to be today's fabulous video sponsor. You already know Squarespace. They are the place with the best website templates, SEO tools, shipping options, and the best way to run an online store. So I started with Squarespace because I don't know how to design a website and do coding, that kind of stuff, but they do. So you can either choose your own template from their library of gorgeous, professionally designed website templates, or use their Blueprint AI. In just a few steps, add in some of the information they might need to know, add some prompts in there, and bam, gorgeous website. They've got you covered for whatever your industry. Maybe you want a one-pager for your brick and mortar shop, or you sell products online. Maybe you run a publication. I don't know what you do, but they are the one-stop shop to run your business. They've got easy online payment options, built-in tools for inventory, shipping, and fulfillment to simplify your workflow and make it seamless for your customers. On top of that, their SEO tools ensure your website shows up more often higher up on search engines so your customers can easily find you. I've been partnering with them for years now, literally years. They're the only website platform I would use, even if they don't want to work with me anymore. I hope they do, but I would still use them. You should go check out squarespace.com/BritPierce for a free 14-day trial. It's the link in the description, and use my code, the BritPierce code, to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Stop sitting on that idea, make it happen, and thank you so much to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. A second Cartier, and I am locking in the Santos de Cartier because after being hands-on with this one, it was one that changed my mind for the worse. For years, I was stalking this watch. I really wanted to buy the medium Santos de Cartier, so the bracelet variant. I really thought this was going to be my new daily wear. I went to the authorized dealer. I wanted to try one on and maybe purchase same day, but once I had it on wrist, it wasn't right. The dial felt too big for me, a bit too shiny. I don't know, it wasn't right for me. But then they encouraged me to try on the Santos Dumont, a watch that wasn't on my radar at all, and it was right. I think maybe this section is a bit less about the Santos specifically, but trying on the watches you think you love and being open to the idea that they could be wrong for you. I mean, everyone knew this was coming. The Jaeger-LeCoultre Reverso is unlike anything else. I've got 4 things I love here. So for 1, it is elegant, a genuinely beautiful design. For 2, it is the icon of Jaeger-LeCoultre, the watchmaker's watchmaker, a brand a lot of enthusiasts have a soft spot for. Number 3, I am a tactile person, and I love the way this feels in hand. I think I'm about to reveal way too much about myself, but I love finding the most perfect, satisfying clicks. The way certain things feel when you fiddle with them, and this has all the right, perfect feelings. They have clearly put a lot of thought into all these details, and it is very satisfying. And 4, it is just a watch that makes one smile. There are technically better watches, more complicated, whatever, but there are very few watches as charming as the Reverso. The Bulgari Octo Finissimo is actually the watch that inspired this video. I always describe it as a magic trick. Visually, it is striking. It almost looks like it was carved out of sand or something, and it's hard to describe how thin it is and make it make sense. It is a watch that needs to be experienced to be understood. I don't own one yet, and I probably never will unless they shrink it down to 35mm. They've just released it in 37mm, but I'd still want it a little bit smaller. That's neither here nor there. Even still, it is a watch I respect a lot. It was the watch that showed that Bulgari is taking their watchmaking horology seriously, and it is the canvas they use for their highest horology pieces. Oh yes, the Vacheron Constantin Historiques American 1921, another watch that really inspired this video. So Vacheron is a brand I largely associate with restraint and conservatism. It's not that their watches are boring or simple. It's far from it. They just don't feel the need to show off or make things super busy. Less is more. But the American 1921 kind of breaks all the rules. So the dial is rotated. The crown placement is strange. Everything feels slightly wrong, but that's also what makes it work and makes it so memorable. Go try one on. Do it the next time you're able to. This makes me sound like I'm sponsored by Vacheron. I'm not. I would take their money, but I've been doing it for free. So if Vacheron is restrained, Breitling and the Navitimer is the absolute opposite. It's a mess, complete visual chaos, and I love it. Numbers, scales, text, information everywhere, yet it somehow works. Breitling in general is a brand I always find surprising. Almost all their watches wear smaller than the numbers would suggest. Every single movement is COSC or COSC certified. And I've been charmed over to a few watches that wouldn't normally be my thing. I'm thinking specifically of the Aston Martin Navitimer, maybe my favorite Navi of all time, and even the Endurance Pro. A good watch design doesn't always have to be about minimalism. Sometimes something busy works. Okay, final three, and these are less about specific watches and more about specialities and notable divergence from the regular mainstream. So, number 1, unique movements. Things like spring drive high beats, if you can see an FP Journe resonance or elegant, things that deviate from the norm in such big ways. These are really the pieces that are keeping me excited about horology and where a lot of the creativity still lives. Number 2, experience the things you think you hate. I can't tell you how much my taste level has expanded just from being hands-on with more. From pictures and press releases, I thought I hated MB&F and Richard Mille. I just thought they were garish and weird and for people with more money than sense. But over the last 3 years, I've grown to respect MB&F and love what they're doing. I'm saving up for a SP1, a Special Projects 1 right now. Then there's Richard Mille. I completely understand hating the aesthetic sensibilities. But if you have any appreciation at all for engineering, hand finishing, pushing materials to their limits, genuine movement innovations, and case construction, you have to at least appreciate them. The RM 2705 Flying Tourbillon, Rafa Nadal. This has a flying tourbillon. You can wear it playing tennis, and it weighs 11.5 grams. For reference, a single AA battery weighs between 15 and 30 grams. It weighs less than a AA battery. I think if you actually get hands-on, you'll realize why people like them so much. You'll see that they're well made, they're still beautiful watches, even if they're not for you, for whatever reason. There are very few watches being sold that are actually total pieces of garbage. I think you might move from total loathing, I hate this so much, to maybe neutral. And finally, if you have the chance to see any high-end, insanely high-end stuff, do it. I can't afford anything crazy. Around £15,000 is about where I tap out. That would be a very, very expensive purchase for me. But any time I have the chance to see the tippy top high-end stuff, I do it. My camera overheated. Once again, we're in a heat wave. If there's a Patek selection of the AD, I always go in. If there's a Lange boutique, I always go in. This is one of the things I loved about Dubai Watch Week. I got the chance to meet some serious, crazy collectors with pieces you don't see every day. Romain Gaultier's, MB&F's, several Vuittolanens. A lot of these are watches I never thought I'd see in my life, let alone have the chance to be hands-on with and ask the person who owned it, why they bought it, tell me more about this. I have so much appreciation for this stuff, even though I know I'll never own them. Thank you for watching. If I missed something big, pop it in the comments down below. Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video, and thank you to the Pope Tier patrons. Look, guys, I don't want to keep talking about how hot it is, but I feel like I'm melting. My makeup's coming off. I can't wait to go in. Oh, just put my hair in a really gross bun, take all my makeup off. Guys, thank you so much for supporting my weird little channel. I hope you keep enjoying the work we do here. I love making these videos. I think I have the best job in the world, and it's only possible because of you guys. I hope you keep enjoying these videos. And even if you don't, I hope you keep enjoying watches forever. They're fabulous, and so are you. All tiers of patrons, you're all fabulous, but this is for the highest tier.